They might be alcoholics, but they're honest, more honest than most people in the world. They don't lie, they tell you the truth.
So I have to assume that everyone has been following this conversation, this dialogue, this controversy that has enveloped this community over the San Marco.
Well, seeing my dad was a band director, I had to make sure that everybody had their uniforms on properly.
My parents, they bought a summer house in White Sulphur Springs, Montana.
It was fun growing up with him, especially my father, because he participated in everything I did, especially when I was in the Boy Scouts, Explorer Scouts.
Well, Dad had a farm, he had horses and that. And
I was first violinist in the orchestra.
I just loved it. I was just happy.
Oh, I love school, yeah. Yeah, I was a very good student, B+.
And my biggest problem was math.
High school was good, and I did a lot of sports back then. I ran track, and, played football.
But these farmers, they like to drink, you know, after work when they weren't doing that, you know. But they were hard workers.
They said, now look, it's something you got to do, young man. And they helped me through, and I graduated from CBC, Christian Brothers College School, a high school.
After high school, I attended Ely Junior College.
And at what time, I thought about becoming a priest.
And that's where I met my husband-to-be.
I happened to walk into a recruiter with all his infantry stuff hanging on him.
I got a letter, I'm inducted. I had to leave February 14, Valentine's Day of '66.
And beautiful ivory wedding dress with beads, and you know, was just gorgeous. And my wealthy relative showed up from California.
And when I wasn't humping ammo, I was on the perimeter, checking the perimeter on the East German borders there.
Well, while we were in Fridley, while he was going to law school, I was doing quite a bit of substitute teaching.
I went and signed up for the Airborne, and I went through jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia.
We did a lot of partying.
Less than a quarter, like 20 cents for a liter, 14% beer.
For 16 years, I drank on and on, but I never had no problem.
I had probably the best times of our marriage. I was building our place out of Pequot Lake, the way I look at it.
I was a E5 when I went to Vietnam.
I was a working alcoholic. I built bridges, I painted towers, I built plants.
97 was a bad year. My best friend passed away from cancer.
I was trying to keep the men from being bunched up, but you couldn't tell them nothing.
I took 4 days in court to go through our divorce, which is pretty yucky.
I heard the thump. Boom, boom, boom. And next thing I know, I seen this black smoke up in front of the column.
The monthly bills and the payments and stuff was too much for one person.
And the 5 guys in front of me fell over like a falling deck of cards.
The bank repossessed everything. I lost the farm, the house, automobiles.
They put the other guys in the body bag, put them aboard the helicopter. We all went to 9030 back.
And that's when I started drinking heavy. It was in '97.
It can happen to anybody. It takes one thing, whether it be a bad business deal, a divorce, a death, anything can send you over there.
Alcohol is the most devastating disease in the world. It takes over your mind, your body, and your soul.
You go through a lot of, you know, you feel hopeless or that you're never going to be able to get things together again. You're hitting rock bottom. You're rock bottom. You know? Can't get much worse than that.
It's a pretty defeated feeling. It really is. I mean, you get so used to it day in, day out. That's all you got.
You sleeping outside still?
At night, wherever I hang my hat, or sometimes outside.
You go to bed and you hope and pray, you know, to wake up in the morning and make it through the night, you know. Have these thoughts, you know, like, what if something happened? You know, what if tonight's the night? I'm hid so good, are they ever gonna find me? When they do find me, how long is it gonna take to know who I was? So many things. I mean, you don't have your family that you can talk to. You don't have really much of anything. Just your street family. They do the panhandling, you know, spare change from people, you know, strangers, whatever. And doesn't take long at all. I mean, you want a drink, you're gonna get it.
When you live on the street, drinking and partying is one way to survive. But you're surviving hour to hour, sometimes minute to minute, when you're on the streets.
Yeah, this looks good enough.
I never did like scotch, and I didn't like gin. Those were two that I wouldn't touch. But anything else, I could tolerate it pretty good. But then it ended up that I realized after a while I realized I couldn't tolerate it.
A lot of people have that kind of attitude that they're just having a party. Who'd want to end up in that kind of spot? About 86 radio, I'm 23. I think it's something that happens progressively to some people, and I think it is very much rooted in poverty. I think poverty plays a huge role in it. Come on, let me help you up. How about we take you to detox today? In 19 years as a police officer.
Best spot for you right now.
That's the only alternatives that we had as police officers, you know, was detox.
When I drink, I drink. And when I drink, I drink. And when I drink, I drink.
Talk to you for a few minutes, okay?
That's the way it is. It's an addiction to it.
Boots off first.
All right, pick a leg up here. Okay, I need to get a boot off the ass. Oh, looks like the unstrap.
All righty. There's one, two boots.
You got it?
Excellent. Ever had alcohol withdrawal? Shakes, tremors? Ever had DTs?
The first treatment was Miller DeWan West in 1978.
Okay, we're gonna be in every half hour to check on you.
Well, I've been in 17 treatment centers.
Again, we go back to housing. The fact that you're taking some pretty tough guys. You're not taking the cream of the crop, as you said earlier. You're taking some guys that have been homeless 10 plus years.
They certainly know what they have done wrong in the past.
Okay.
But boy, I tell you, there are so many people who have such strong opinions. People who doubt that taxpayers' dollars should be spent in this fashion. So I'm wondering what you think. What do you think about this ongoing issue about the community providing a safe sheltering place for these folks who have issues with alcoholism, who have issues with homelessness? What do you think about us providing such a location? We welcome your phone calls. Kathy's on the line. Hello, Kathy. How are you today?
Hi, Duke. I'm not very happy about this place.
Can you tell me why?
Well, okay, first of all, have you thought about this? Why should we be subsidizing some place where a bunch of people can just go and get drunk? You know, if you've got alcoholism, you can't drink. I mean, did you ever know anybody that went to AA that could drink? Of course not. Because the only way to get cured is just to, get off the stuff. So we're going to let them drink. I don't see how that cures anything.
Hey, buddy, what's happening? No, hey, we just want to talk to you. No, don't try and get it right now. We just want to talk to you. We just want to talk. Come on now. You got something to
Squad 86 radio, I'm 1023. I'll be out with one down. I don't see anybody else around. Do you think you'd recognize any of them if you saw them again?
One of them I would.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to the hospital, all right?
Okay.
Okay, sir, tell me what happened to you.
The 5 basic rules. Remember that when you talked with Kim earlier, no violence or threats of violence, 0 illegal activity, do not damage the building, pay any rent in time, and respect for staff, visitors, and others. We kind of live by those 5 rules in our building, things that anyone would expect in their own home. And that's for the safety of everybody that lives here and works here. Okay? Are you ready to go see your room?
Well, in the police department, a lot of the officers thought that it would create a neighborhood problem, that there'd be drunken behavior out around this facility, and it would spread into the downtown, that it would essentially be like a zoo, that it would be out of control.
Well, I'm just glad to be here, and thank God I'm not homeless anymore.
Life is a lot different.
Best dancer award! The best dancer!
Life is a lot different. When you're in an environment secure, you're safe, it can be a starting point.
Feel safe here.
I've been living on the streets probably for about 15 years.
Oh yeah, I lived right under the sidewalk. There's a steam pipe under it.
I just say thanks.
We need to look at their life experience and the failed attempts they've had at trying to get that monkey off their back, and saying, if it doesn't work,
some extra green peppers and onions,
and hasn't worked repeatedly, shouldn't we learn something from that?
There's my bathroom.
That's Huggy Bear.
This is my refrigerator.
Do everything that, you know, like a house demands of you to do, and you do it and start to feel better.
But one thing about being here, it is so many veterans here, and we all talk the same language.
There is such a wide variety of individuals that live in this building.
Uh-oh.
From
You're in trouble now.
a woman who used to be a school teacher to several individuals who own their own businesses at some point.
Well, there's our oldest resident in the building.
How you doing?
He's very hard of hearing. Harry, we have a visitor in the building today again.
Who's that?
Well, he's a judge. Oh, he's running away. So.
How you doing? I'm Sean Flerkey.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
The new San Marco is owned and operated by Center City Housing. It's shaped like a large L. So part of that L are 40 units, efficiencies on this side of the building for individuals who have been homeless. The other side of the building, the 30 units, are the units for the chronic alcoholics. That side of the building has group residential housing vouchers or a license that's attached. So regardless of their income, everybody does pay.
The men and women that live here, I mean, if they are going to consume alcohol, you know, they need to be doing that in the privacy of their own home. And obviously, my biggest strategy here is to keep them home.
Huge buzz. Why on earth are we building a place for? We're paying for a place for people to drink, and why are we putting up drunks?
We really take people where they're at. That's what I mean, it's that simple. We just take people where they're at.
But there's a lot of people here that
Who taught you to do this stuff, John?
very high intelligence,
You see, here's a circumference like this.
but they're alcoholics.
Like me, it's like being back at home, you know.
Well, I know that John Roy started life very traumatic. He, I believe he witnessed his father murder his mother at a very young age, was then placed in foster care homes. Maybe some pretty abusive things happened to this man in his life.
Uh-oh, Danny, what does your question say?
Okay.
They took the tough cases. They took people that were really causing quite a bit of commotion.
When Mackie came, he was drinking a lot.
I'd buy a half a gallon of Old Thompson whiskey and a liter.
Just going back to 1997, say, the month of June, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 police contacts in that month.
Of course, I'm one of the hardest cores out there, you know about it.
Everybody in town kind of knew John. Emergency rooms, the police, and the detox, all very familiar with John.
Well, on the street, every chance I get, even if it was every half a day, you know, I'd get drunk.
I guess the previous 4 years before the San Marco, he was in detox 130 times.
It wasn't until those doors opened and it got going were we going to find out how it was actually going to work.
I think it's too early to start drinking alcohol.
No, I don't think so. You just got to keep and I also hope to keep a steady high.
You want to keep a steady high?
A steady one. It gives me a good feeling. It's just something that turns you on, you know, alcohol.
It's a pretty profound addiction.
It's one of those things that, say, just doing the detox trip, doing the treatment, and that stuff is not working, maybe we should try something different.
Not everyone is going to become abstinent, but if we can move people toward less harmful forms of use, they will benefit and the rest of us will benefit.
Housing first just means despite who you are and what barriers you have, I'm willing to house you.
An individual with a family and a job has some support system in place to make changes and support changes they might want to make, whereas somebody who lacks those things would lack that kind of recovery capital.
Well, recovery's great when you get there. Well, I had a job, and I had a wife that, well, she kind of understood what was going on, and she was there for me. I mean, she supported me through the whole thing.
Scary. Scary for both of us. Oh.
Good family, good friends, support. I mean, you really need support. Anyone? Something.
I had no parents, really. You know, I grew up without real ones.
What else John needs in the building is
I'll tell you that one time.
He's being pretty secretive.
Right now.
What he's given every day from the staff and the residents that live here is...
Look at the camera.
John does best with a lot of unconditional love. Can I sit with you for a little bit?
Yes, you may. Yes, you
I'm
may.
gonna get Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you may sit here.
It's just the atmosphere. They try to build you up. They don't want to tear you down. And after being struggling for so many years, I need that, you know. Say, hey, once in a while I get a pat on the back or hey, Everything will be all right.
I'll be quite honest with you. I feel like the staff here in my life cares more about me than my own children do.
Twins are still in first grade. A lot of things I didn't care about. I just started caring about things again.
You know, when he does come into my office, one of the first things that I recognize that he needs a big, healthy dose of, I'm so glad you came to see me today. Where'd you get this? Well, probably the most important thing is recognizing, you know, John has some pretty serious mental health diagnoses.
What most makes me afraid is because how long has he been doing it?
Yeah. This is silly
Well,
stuff.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Got a magic marker so I can go out there and panhandle.
No. No panhandling.
Okay, no panhandling?
No.
That's what I like about the staff. They really care about the individual. And they get to know you individually, so your problems and everything.
You're doing a really good job, John, and I'm really glad that you're not, you know, asking people for money on the streets anymore, because that's a lot of money to pay in fines.
He needs money.
Yep.
And that's today, so John's gonna come today. Here you go, John.
So I like this.
It's like getting back at home, you know. You know what's better for you.
So that works really good that he has a budget plan so he doesn't have to go out there and panhandle or ask people for money.
When's the last time you think you panhandled?
That was the last time.
A year ago?
Yep.
And then Palmer, there was a change. Your rent's a little less.
There you go. There's my receipt there.
Thank you, Palmer. I'm gonna do 300 for Palmer.
Everybody has high respect for these.
I want my Johnny. Congratulations.
Yeah. The fish not Kim, huh?
He's currently homeless.
That's a nice
up there.
picture of her.
Okay.
She's doing a fishing book. Are you a fishing
Yes,
guy?
I am.
Really?
We were just talking about that.
What's
Like
your
this
name?
Summer?
Yeah, fishing with the whole group.
They were so afraid over the weekend that he would die in this weather that they actually put him in
the elements.
Yeah, they put him in the hospital. So they've got him in there $800 a day in the hospital to keep him from freezing to death. He used up 3 primary treatments last year. I mean, he's had hundreds and hundreds of detox treatments.
Well, the first few months we watched it very closely, and then it became a waste of time because there was not much going on.
What I've seen going there, and what I've seen touring the place, and what I've seen in my courtroom is that some folks are getting to a point of safety and health, and their involvement in the legal system, at detox, at the hospital, and in emergency rooms is dropping substantially. So instead of the police and the hospitals taking care of this person,
This one's yours, Sarge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
they're living in a place where they can take care of themselves and there are folks looking out for them, which is a pretty cool thing.
The change was pretty drastic pretty quickly. Of the 30 people that they've had here, if I want to see them, I have to come up here to see them.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah?
Sure. Thanks,
I
Alice.
think that what we can learn is that there's real power in that dignity and respect, and in somebody having a place to live that they can call their own, that they help with, that they pay rent towards.
Christmas cookies?
Yeah.
How many you got in your pocket?
Not enough.
Good.
We basically promised that we would reduce detox admissions, that we would reduce contact with law enforcement. We weren't expecting that it would decrease to essentially 0, but in fact it has.
Okay, old Sarge's gonna start out by telling everybody, first of all, Merry Christmas. This is the best Christmas I've had in 15 years. All right. Okay.
We're far ahead by doing this project. I don't think there are any losers. I think this is a win-win for everybody.
Go visit. The place sells itself. It's absolutely fantastic to see people living in community together walking in dignity and respect and smiles everywhere. And it'll sell itself.
Gary G, thank you for tonight and this special time.
You're doing just great.
I love all of you, and it's a great thing when a building becomes a home.
So now Paul is probably down to a couple beers a day. 2 to 3 beers a day, I know that for a fact. Since moving in here, I don't think Dan Mackey's had any contact with the Duluth Police Department. Gone from every single day the hard alcohol to beer a few times a week. John Roy is using probably almost every day, but it's not things that are damaging to him. And it's not in quantities that are damaging. Palmer had some pretty good goals in place when he moved in, and it was to get stable in housing. We're looking at maybe transitioning Palmer to the independent side of the building. Virginia, I think, Virginia's usage is way down. Oh, Gary Gearhart, a very big portion of the individuals have stop that hard alcohol, stay more on the beer.